So let's see if maybe something changed with Achi now. I just undid my cooking session from last time. And let's see if Achi still gets knocked out. Oh god, the theater guys, yes, they're gonna lock them in. God, it's one long segment, isn't it? And we can't really... It was my idea to hide out here in the first place, yeah. We'll have to get someone on the outside to help us, Hitomi replied. Yes, the powder phone's back on in order to call for help. Oh! Hitomi chirped, that's me! She's actually getting a call. She took a look at the LCD display. And it's Tanaka now, I guess. It's an email from Mr. Tanaka, so we did change fate somehow. Okay. Hitomi began typing out a response with practice ease. More wild delusions rose in Achi's mind. Ideas or fantasies conjured up in one's mind with no logical or factual basis. People can become deluded for varying reasons about a whole host of different subjects. Thankfully, Achi's delusions here are of an ultimately harmless sort. Oh, yeah, absolutely harmless. Oh, poor dude. Stealing a quick glance at Hitomi, he noticed her gazing happily at the phone screen. Poor guy, getting cucked without even getting any action. His delusions ran even more wild. While he was still fretting furiously, Hitomi finished typing her response. So, what did you wind up saying? Achi asked. I explained the situation. What? That we're trapped in a storeroom, you've got some guys chasing after you, and you're looking for some van, and you're with me? Or maybe she did leave him out, I don't know. Yes, I also asked him to please keep this a secret from my family and the police. Whoever this Tanaka guy was, Hitomi sure seemed to put a lot of trust in him. I bet he's also in on this somehow. A short while later, Hitomi's phone chimed with a reply. She checked the screen in a flash, all eagerness. Achi couldn't help but ask, So, what's that Tanaka guy have to say? Did his utmost to pretend he didn't notice. No, let's be upfront about it. A hint of jealousy slipped into his voice. He says he's going to try to find a minivan for us. Oh? Huh? If he just comes and lets us out, I can go look for it myself. He says he wants us to hide out here a little longer. Oh, okay. What the hell? Seriously? He says that if someone's after me, it's safer to stay where we are. I'm not so sure about that. Yeah, I'm out of the running, Achi thought to himself. This Tanaka was clearly pretty concerned for her, and there was really only one reason a middle-aged man would think like that. Because of his dick. Alright, fine, we'll wait. Achi turned his own phone off, then slumped back in a huff. After 20 more minutes in the storeroom, the two were sitting in silence, as she had run out of things to talk about. Do you think you'll ever be friends again? Oh no, it's her asking, I assume. Do you think you'll ever be friends again? You and that one guy. Susumu, I think it was. Hitomi's question caught Achi off guard. He stammered, unsure how to respond. Hitomi shook her head. I'm so sorry. I barely know you. That was insensitive of me. Sure was, Hitomi. Also, could you maybe think about Achi's feelings when you're talking about Tanaka? Jesus Christ. No, it's alright. I mean, sometimes I wish things could go back to the way they used to be, Achi said. He let out a tiny sigh. What that Kiryu guy said was the truth. I was the guy who found it SOS. Do you know what I mean by that? Hitomi gave a slight nod. I mean, I never wanted to be in charge of a gang or anything, but I knew that if I left, SOS would just fall apart. And I didn't want everyone else to get all caught up over who would take my place, you know. So I thought long and hard about it, looking for a way for folks to stay friends, even after I was gone. And you did that by being the common baddie, maybe? The loud voice echoed through the pool hall that served as SOS HQ. An establishment— oh, come on, we don't need to read that. Seriously. What do you mean you're leaving? Suzumu was positively red in the face. You're our founder, Achi. You can't just up and quit. Suzumu had been almost like a younger brother to Achi. If anyone was going to try to stop him, Achi knew full well it would be Suzumu. Look, I'm not gang leader material. All I've been trying to do is make sure we all are able to have fun. That's not true, Suzumu said. Think about all that stuff you taught us. Don't you remember? Every man gets to make one request in his life that cannot be denied. Those are your words, Achi. Really? Why would you teach them that? That's not true at all. That's not true. Did I say that? It's the heaviest thing you've ever said. Then, to Achi's consternation, Suzumu got down on his hands and knees, which is a big fucking thing in Japan. I'm begging you, please don't leave. Without you, SOS is nothing. Achi could feel his conviction waver. I'm begging you here, from one man to another. This is my one request. Suzumu, I'm sorry. Achi could barely croak out the words. I'm leaving you in charge. You can't, Suzumu pleaded. Please don't say that. Achi turned his back to him in silence. Please, Achi, why won't you listen? I can't possibly beg any harder than this. Enough of all the request nonsense. Achi grimaced. What? Look at you, down on your hands and knees like that. Pathetic. Ultimately stems from the Greek pathetikos, meaning subject to feeling or capable of emotion. Oh, okay. Over time the meaning changed to signify exciting the passions, and later on to the more modern sense of arousing one's pity. That's interesting to learn the background of this word. Achi spoke as harshly as he could, fighting to mask his true feelings. I'm fed up with you. All of you. With each word out of his mouth, Achi could feel his own heart breaking. But if he could make the others hate him, at least it would give SOS a reason to stay together. He did choose that way. Damn it, Achi. Just when I got a little bit annoyed at you, you actually are pretty fucking awesome. How can you say that? Don't you try and pull that crap? Suzumu's tone had changed from sadness to anger. Fine then, he railed. I'm never asking you for anything again. I'll do what you want. I'll take the reins of SOS. I think it's the wrong way to spell reins, but whatever. Achi walked away, waving vaguely without looking back. Good luck. I mean it. Once he'd stepped out of the pool hall, he wiped his sleeve across his face. It came away wet with tears. But true men don't cry. Of course. So it was a rainy day. Let's put it like that. Sometimes I think that maybe I could apologize to those guys and we could go back to the good old days again. But that's never gonna happen. Not unless Suzune gets better. He stared into the distance at nothing in particular. At least he'd sorted out how he felt about his former pals. Is there nothing that can help your sister? Hitomi asked. She needs a heart transplant. And the problem with heart transplants is that the timing is tricky. The act of surgically implanting one person's heart into another's body. Okay. Even if there's a donor available, the transplant has to be performed within 4 hours or things get dicey. Because lack of oxygen causes damage referred to as warm ischemia damage, I guess, in any organ removed from a human body, a transplant must be carried out and blood circulation restored within a certain time window, known as the total ischemic time? Ischemic time? I don't know. In the case of a heart transplant, total ischemic time is only 4 hours. Helicopters and charter jets are frequently used to rapidly transport hearts for such operations. That's interesting. I knew it was short, but I didn't know it was only 4 hours. I thought it was more like to half a day or something. Oh wow, I didn't realize. Someone with a heart that's a match for Suzune would need to die somewhere near her. Somewhere they could perform the surgery within that 4-hour window. Could you get from one end of Japan to the other in 4 hours? How big is Japan really? Because you can get from one end of Germany to the other in a plane, I think, in 4 hours. Yeah, surely. Of course you fucking can. You can get from Germany to the UK in 2. Is it 2 hours or only 1? Fuck, I can't remember. Anyway, it's a short amount of time, basically what I want to say. So, someone in Japan has to die for his sister to survive. Yes, that's always how it is in transplant cases. The odds of that happening are so small it would almost be a miracle. Which is what my sister's been waiting for. Achi thumped the left side of his chest. If my heart would do the trick, I'd gladly let her have it. Damn it, I've got a strong heart too. He thumped himself on the chest again and again. I don't think she would ever be happy if she got his heart. Seriously, it's one of the reasons why they, at least as far as I know, they don't usually tell you who you got your organs from. I mean, they tell you the type of person, but they don't give you any idea or anything, or their relatives or anything, because sometimes you just don't want to know. And there's actually people out there that would refuse organs from, let's say, quote unquote, a bad person. Which is ridiculous, since... Yeah, no, let's not get into that topic. It is just fucking ridiculous. He didn't mention it to Hitomi, but Suzune's blood type made finding her a heart transplant even more difficult. She had Bombay Blood. I need to read up on that. What is that? A type of blood that does not correspond to the more common types of A, B, O, or AB. What? In some instances, a standard blood typing yields a result of O in such individuals. First discovered in the city of Bombay, now Mumbai, on India's west coast. The blood type takes its name from that city due to its relatively high incidence rate among the inhabitants. That's weird. How can this happen? And is this fiction? No. Is this fiction? No, it can't be, right? The game would tell me if this was fiction. It was one of the rarest blood types in the world. Apparently there were only... Is this my fucking fire alarm? Can you even hear that? Give me a second. Maybe it's just the batteries running out. Should stop. Okay, I think it stopped. Fuck. One of the rarest blood types in the world. Apparently there were only a few dozen people in all of Japan who had it. Rare blood types such as Bombay are scarce enough that even nationwide blood centers seldom have them in sufficient supply. For this reason, when such blood types are discovered in everyday testing, samples are quickly taken to be frozen and stored at temperatures lower than 80 degrees below centigrade. Okay. If Suzune were ever to receive a heart transplant, it would need to be from someone who also had Bombay blood. So will this game resolve his story or not? Because someone would need to die for that. Someone with Bombay blood. Achi? It to me sounded like she was on the verge of tears. Wow, she must really feel bad for Suzune. Or maybe for you, who knows? If you did manage to find a heart for your sister, what would you do? What do you mean? Say, if you happened across someone who was a donor match? Oh god, would you fucking kill them? I would do anything. Anything? Yeah, whatever it took. I'd risk my own life if it meant helping Suzune. I mean, at that point, I'd assume God had granted me a miracle or something, you know? Of course she doesn't know that he's talking about a 1 in a billion chance or something with the Bombay blood. She doesn't know that. She's assuming that he's talking in a 1 in 4 chance, probably. I don't know. Of course, that's not how the blood types are distributed, but still. Mr. Tanaka? Oh, what? Unfortunately for these two, it's not Mr. Tanaka. Right now, Tanaka is at the Osawa residence on his way to speak with Kenji Osawa, who's washing dishes after lunch, which would break his TBC, I think, or rather his keep out. So we need to remember that. Let's continue with this. I think it's Detective Tateno. Hitomi's voice was barely a squeak. For a moment, all was silent. Maybe it's just a cat. Maybe it's just a cat, Achi suggested. Or not. A jump to Tama? Do we want to do that? Not right now. The doorknob rattled ominously. That's not a fucking cat. You really think that's Tanaka? Achi asked. I'm not sure. If it were him, I think he'd probably say something. Did you tell him the exact location of this warehouse? Because if not, then it's not him. Achi grabbed Hitomi's hand. We'd better hide. The two of them slipped behind a larger piece of plywood stage dressing. So who unlocks a door after rattling at it like that? The door swung open with a loud creak. In stepped the cat. Oh, it's just a kitty cat. A giant kitty cat. Walking upright. Achi and Hitomi stared in confusion as someone in a cat costume slipped into the room. Of course, according to my storyline, she shouldn't have the kitty cat, the cat costume anymore. There was something vaguely sinister about the fuzzy figure. God, maybe it's not Tama, but the costume matches. The cat had both hands stuffed into its pockets and it shuffled as it walked, dragging one... Oh fuck, it's Tateno. It's Tateno dressed up as Tama. This is some real weird stuff now. Dragging one leg, okay. You think that's someone with the theater troupe? And she whispered. Maybe? The two huddled in the shadows, pressed almost cheek to cheek. They watched as the cat rifled around inside one of its pockets and then pulled something out. A gun? No, keys, okay. It was a bundle of keys. No doubt the ones it had used to get inside. Why? Can you see the bloody paw to the top? Achi's eyes fixed on the furry mitt that held them. Yeah, it's bloody. It was stained dark red. That could be only one thing. Blood. Or tomato sauce. Ketchup. At that moment, Achi finally realized just what was going on. That's no theater guy. It was the assassin. He'd used the cat suit to slip past the theater people and had somehow gotten his hands on the storeroom keys. Now he tossed the keys away, then delicately adjusted the costume's wobbly head. Hitomi, we gotta run. Huh? Hitomi seemed frozen, mesmerized. Oh fuck! The cat turned directly toward them. The fur around its mouth was stained crimson. It's Tateno, by the way. Hitomi let out a high-pitched cry of shock, I think at least. The cat drew its other hand out of its pocket. How is he able to see them in the dark with this cat costume hat? Clutched in its mitt was a gun. No, he's not wearing a mitt. It's his hands. Game? How can you... And that has to be an error in the script, right? Because no one would translate it like that. Achi and Hitomi had nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Seems like a bad end? Yep. What's up with the cat? So I guess Tama isn't supposed to get rid of a costume, right? Disguised in a cat costume, the killer managed to corner Achi and Hitomi. But where'd he get that costume? As it happens, it's Tama's fault. She tossed the suit away after taking it off, allowing the assassin to find it and use it to deceive the theater troupe and gain access to the storeroom. Little could she have known. Which is funny since I think she's Hitomi's sister. But it's actually a perfect time to end this for today. Next time we fix Tama's mistake and see what happens with Achi. Or maybe we do a jump, you know. Since I can actually clear 2 keep-outs now, I think. Maybe? Yeah, I should. So, bye.